How you doing? This is just a quick shot. I wanted to compare the Fulltone Plimsoul, which I've used for many years and really liked a lot, to the Wampler Pinnacle pedal. Of course, the Pinnacle pedal is designed to be Eddie Van Halen Brown sound in a box. I'm not going to debate whether it can do that or not. Seems like it kind of can, but at low volume, it's kind of missing the feedback and the sheer violence of the feedback and interaction between the speakers and the guitar that should be there. But the basic tone is right. I haven't played it quite loud enough to pick up on that. That's not what I'm trying to do with it. I'm just going for a nice crank Marshall kind of a sound, and that's what I used the Plimsoul for a long time. So I've got them both set kind of what sounds good to me, or where I would probably use them with a guitar. I'm playing this lovely 1982 Japanese vintage reissue, which I love a lot. It's got David Allen Texas Flood pickups. And here's a couple of sounds from it. Here it is bypassed. I'm playing into my my 68 Vibra Lux reverb. So I'll get a basic idea of what that sounds like. Okay, I could delay on too, just because it feels better to play it rather than dry. Here's the Plimsoul. What I normally do is back the tone control on the guitar down to about 7. I do have Jimmy Vaughn, Eric Johnson wiring on most of my Strats. This tone control here is wired to the bridge pickup, and we'll just do the bridge pickup for now, because that seems to be the most difficult one to get a nice sound out of, overdriven. The other two seem to sound great through everything, in my experience, most of the time. You may look for particulars, but they're a lot less of a struggle. Anyway. The way I set overdrive pedals up, which I guess is another topic, is I set them up to the point where I can pick the guitar very lightly. I just barely touch it there, and it reads as clean. It may not be perfectly clean, but it reads as mostly clean. There's just the slightest bit of texture to it, and then when you hit it hard, you've got a nice overdrive. And of course I look for it to sound good turned down. You know, that's how they clean up with the guitar turned down is important too, but that sensitivity and that level of dynamics that you get just by how you play it is kind of an important thing to me too. So that's the Plimsoul. Here's the Pinnacle. I could almost use them interchangeably. I really like the Pinnacle set this way. It's obviously not set at Van Halen gain levels. I play in a blues rock band, you know, that throws in some extra material once in a while. So Eddie Van Halen levels of gain are not really appropriate for what I want to do. I just want a nice crank Marshall sound, and this seems to work good for that. Back to the Pinnacle, the Plimsoul, I mean. Pinnacle. And I can dial the Pinnacle in in with comparable levels of mid-range to the Plimsoul, but the thing is when you do that, you lose that the bottom, because it's on a contour control. There's no separate control for the mid-range and bass, so it's kind of a balancing act. I like it this way with a little less mid-range more than I like it with more mid-range and less bass that you're kind of forced into. So that's that. That's kind of a cool thing. Plimsoul wins at being less compressed. That's what I like about it, is the lack of compression to it. The Pinnacle is more compressed, and it's your opinion. You know, it's really anyone's opinion which one sounds more like an amp. They can both do a pretty darn good Crank Marshall impersonation. But one thing I've noticed is this: there's a difference in noise. And of course, these are real single coils, so there is some 60 cycle hum. Here it is with everything bypassed and the volume wide open. And here it is with the Plimsoul. And you can hear it buzzes, but right. So that controls a lot of it. But then here it is bypassed again. But then here's the Pinnacle. Back to the Plimsoul, Pinnacle, and you'll hear an additional, which I think is 60 cycle, coming from the Pinnacle. And what that is there's a ground somewhere, which I think is probably the cable barrel to the chassis. I think is poorly grounded. Notice it goes away, right? So it's a string ground. The string ground makes it go away. Also, when I touch my finger to the barrel of the cable going into the pedal, and I ground it with my finger to between the barrel of the pedal and the case. Hear that? It's the same thing as this. So the Pinnacle is making noise due to a ground. I think I can fix it. I think I can probably either remove some of the paint from where the input-output jacks go in, and maybe that'll help. If that doesn't help, then I might be able to run a separate ground wire from the jacks to like one of the screws on the back side of the case or something like that to run an external ground wire. That's all that is. It is one of the first generation Pinnacles. Maybe Brian fixed that later in the design. I don't really know. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that real quick. It's a cool pedal. As soon as I fix the noise issue, I can kind of use it interchangeably. And that's all I wanted to show you today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.